Alright. While I'm still under the influence, let's do another video. This video, I'm gonna tell you two stories. I love stories, and I don't know. I think my parents don't tell me enough stories when I was a kid, and I love stories. I love telling stories, and I love listening to stories. And I'm gonna tell you a story that happened to me recently that you may or may not learn something from it because it may or may not have a moral that you actually care. But it is somewhat relative to related to traveling, so uh, you could probably learn a lesson from this. Alright, first story involves me going to the Chinese embassy. Actually, the consulate, not the embassy. The Chinese consulate to get my visa to go to China. Uh, this should be a relatively simple process because you just go in and fill out a form, you know, and they take it away. They'll take your passport and money and give you a big stamp that says, "Hey, it's okay for you to go to China," and they'll mail it back to you. Or no, actually, you have to go pick it up. Actually, in like a week or 4 days. Actually, 4 days. But it was slightly agitating for me. Not exactly a super happy experience. Why? Because I'm born in Taiwan, and that there is a slight political, well, not slight, but there is a political tension that is there. I have to say I don't really care about the whole, Taiwanese or Chinese or who is who and independence, unification. So I am kind of a fence sitter. I just wanted to be, status, a stasis will be fine for me. And I'm Canadian. I'm just gonna use that as an excuse, and I don't really care about this whole politics thing. But I think what agitates me is China is kind of forcing me to pick a side, or actually not forcing me to pick a side, but forcing their value onto me, which I cannot stand. In one of the columns that I have to fill in is former nationality. Former nationality meaning that you, it's the nationality before your current one, which is fairly simple, but the difference between China and Canada is Canada allows dual citizenship, so you could both Canadian and some other citizen, or multiple citizenship actually. So I am currently Canadian and Taiwanese. I have two passports. But China, on the other hand, only allows a single citizenship, so you can only be Chinese or something else that's not Chinese. So the lady at the counter actually said I have to fill in China as my former nationality, which is weird because I was never ever a Chinese citizen. Like I don't actually have a former nationality because I never gave out any. I've never had a nationality that I gave up. I'm still citizen of Taiwan and citizen of Canada, so technically that is the wrong. I'm basically lying. Basically, he's asking me to lie. I don't care, The to get things done, I'll lie, cheat, and steal. Sell myself out a little bit. Sell what I believe in. I suppose, but then they asked me this column that says country of birth. Okay, I put down Taipei and Taiwan, place of birth, right? Taipei, Taiwan. And the lady asked me to put down Taipei, Taiwan, China. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. This whole political shenanigans, it's not my thing, right? Don't care. Then what really, really agitated me is the third thing. The third thing that really kind of like made me explode. I didn't actually like go rage and start punching people, but I was really, really agitated. Uh, so if you want to go into China once, you have to pay one entrance fee. So at one entry, single entry is $50. So the visa for single entry is $50. If you want to enter China, leave China, then enter China again, that's double entry. That's $25 more, right? So you want to enter China, leave China, enter China, then leave China, then enter China. So that's triple. That's multiple entry. That's $100. So it's different. Every time you want to go in, you have to pay $25 more, right? So it all makes sense. But now here comes the problem. If China claims that Taiwan and Hong Kong is part of China, then why would I have to pay extra money if I want to go to China, then leave China to go to Hong Kong, then go back to China, then leave China to go to Taiwan, then go back to China? I'm technically still in China and I shouldn't be paying $100. I should be paying $50 for this visa. But this lady's asking me to pay pay $100 because I'm actually leaving China to go to another country that's called Hong Kong and another country that's called Taiwan. So really seriously, if you want to say China is part of, I mean Taiwan is part of China, Hong Kong is part of China, that's cool with me. I'm not gonna argue, but charge me $50. But if you're gonna charge me $100, then China is part of Taiwan's obviously not a part of China. Then you already you can't have your cake and eat it too. So you gotta pick one. But that's bureaucracy. That's how it is, and that lady at the counter just said that's just how it is. You have to pick one, and I'm not gonna argue with her because she didn't make up the policy, and she's just the enforcer, and shouldn't be you know yelling at her for a policy that she didn't make. So I just kind of submitted, and which is kind of sad. So the moral of the story is, if you want to do things in China, you might have to sell your soul a little bit, or whatever you believe in. That's the moral of the story. Second story. This happened 2 days ago. Uh, my Taiwanese passport, which is kept with the rest of the family, is kept by my mother, and she tells me that she lost it. I have no idea how like you lose passport, but she apparently managed to do it, and the passport's gone, and we had to go to the RCMP this morning as soon as they opened up at 8 o'clock. Reported missing, and go to the Taiwanese consulate and get a replaced passport, which would take 3 days. And apparently, according to the lady who works there, that if I enter Taiwan without a Taiwanese passport, there is a chance that I will be detained and forced to serve in the army like I should have, because the Taiwanese army is involuntary, is mandatory. And since I immigrated to Canada and I never had to serve in the army. And if I don't enter with a Taiwanese passport and get a big like, oh, get out of jail free card stamp on my Taiwanese passport, then I would have to go and stay in the army for 1 to 2 years, depends. Uh, so then the lady tells me it really all depends on if the guy at the airport is gonna be anal about it or not. So, moral of the story: keep your own passports, and keep your own fate in your own hand. Do not give your stuff that's important to anybody else, not even your own mother, because she will lose it for you. That is the moral of the story, and it is related to stuff that you will want to check before you leave the country, right? Visa and passport, kind of important if you want to travel. That is all. That is episodes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's four. Yeah, four. That is all.